This is the story of James Cosby. Houston, Texas, March 2014. 24-year-old Brittany Cosby and her girlfriend, 24-year-old Crystal Jackson, just purchased their first vehicle together, a 2006 Kia. A few days later, on March 5th, Crystal goes and pick up her 5-year-old daughter, Zanaya, from her grandparents' house, who is also Crystal's parents. Now, she's excited to show her parents about her new purchase. When she got there, her mother was excited and happy for her, but her father wouldn't even get out the chair to look at the car. He didn't really like her dating women. Crystal told her father that she loved him anyways, took her daughter, and left. Now, the very next morning on March 6th, Crystal's mother, who also worked at Zanaya's school, noticed that Zanaya was not there. So all throughout the morning, she's calling Crystal's phone, but she's not getting any answer. Later that day, Crystal's parents decided to go to Brittany's house to look for them. Now, Brittany and Crystal did live together, along with baby Zanaya. They lived with Brittany's great grandmother, who was 90 years old and also in a wheelchair. Brittany's father just got out of prison October of 2013. In 1994, he was convicted of sexually assaulting a woman and did 10 years. Got out in '04, went back in 2012 for the same thing. Now he's back at the house. James told Crystal's parents that he hasn't seen or heard from the girls, but Crystal's parents thought it was strange because baby Zanaya was there. That's when they decided to call the jail, they called hospitals, they even called the morgue. When they didn't get anything, they reported Crystal missing. The next morning on March 7th at around 7 a.m., an hour and a half away in Port Bolivar, a man working at a convenience store was throwing trash away out back when he seen what looked like two mannequins laying by the dumpster. Quickly realizing that the bodies were real, the police were called. But it was only one problem. The women didn't have no identification on them, so they had no clue who they were until they seen a piece of mail not too far from the bodies with Brittany's name and address on it. When the detectives went to Houston to break the news to the families, James put on an award-winning performance.
That's what we're trying to find.
You grieve all you need to grieve, we understand.
Boy, but the question still remains, where was Brittany and Crystal's new car? Now, to get to Port Bolivar, you have to take a ferry. So the detective said, let's run that camera back. We need to see every car from the last day and a half getting on that ferry. And what do they see on March 6th getting onto the ferry? Brittany and Crystal's Kia. Now, the Kia was stopped by a security guard because the driver's side headlight was out. And when he stopped the Kia, a man got out of the driver's side to check the light. As you can see, with the camera being so far away, they couldn't get a clear picture. They called a security guard in for questioning and asked could he help with a drawing of the man that he seen that night. And this is what he came up with. Now, this was showed to both of the families, and everybody like, we don't know who the hell this man is. The detectives was focused on Crystal's dad because he was so vocal about not liking her lesbian lifestyle. And then he was kind of like bad mouthing Brittany. He even said he knew that his daughter being a lesbian would take her out of here. Sir, his alibi ruled him innocent. Now, when the police go question James again, they said, James, you keep saying it was a normal day, but it's not making no sense to why Crystal and Brittany would leave baby Zanaya here. And while he's still saying he don't know, the police is noticing that the window shutter piece is missing. The same piece that was all the way in Port Bolivar with blood on it next to the bodies. They said, James, what happened to this window? He said, oh, it been like that. Noted. On March 13th, a candlelight visual was held for the girls. And the police said, let's while they at the visual, let's roll back over here to the house right quick. When the police got to the house, the caretaker of Brittany's grandmother answered the door. And the police asked the caretaker, is anything different around here? And the caretaker said, as a matter of fact, it is. Under the carport is crazy clean. It ain't never been clean like this. The first thing that they moved under the carport was a brick. And that's literally all they needed. Under that brick was blood splatter. They went into James's room and noticed that he had laid down new carpet. Up under that new carpet was pools of blood. You can tell he tried to clean it up, but couldn't get all of it. They put a black light in his room in the way that it lit up. My God. The police collected an overwhelming amount of evidence. Then they made their way to the visual, only to see James doing this.
We need to find out what's happening. The detectives are doing what they do. They've been keeping us informed as much as they can, but there's nothing yet.
The police let him finish lying and arrested him right after that interview. Now, in interrogation, James didn't say anything. It was too much evidence against him. The sheet wrapped around Brittany's head was his. The blood in the house. The fingerprint on the mail. You tried to carry the shutter with the mail and still ended up leaving the mail. The security guard at the ferry pointed you out. About a month later, Brittany and Crystal's car was found in a tow lot. They had towed it from another lot. In the back of their car was a pool of blood and a bullet with Crystal's hair wrapped around it. In the ashtray, a cigarette butt with James' DNA. The detective said that this was the most amount of evidence that he had ever seen. I think he said it was like 300 and something pieces of evidence. Now, the theory is on March 6th, Brittany and her father got into some type of altercation. Crystal took baby Zanaya and put her in the car, put her in her car seat, and the two was waiting on Brittany to come out. And when Brittany didn't never come out, Crystal went in to check on him. And that's when she seen James beating Brittany to death with some type of object. And when James noticed Crystal, that's when he shot her in the head. Now, it's unclear if he shot her in the house or under that carport. He placed baby Zanaya back in the house. Then he went to spend a couple hours with his girlfriend until he dumped the bodies in Port Bolivar. I mean, Granny, you ain't hear none of this? That house didn't look too big now. You ain't hear nothing? James went to trial in August of 2016, and on August 11th, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. But he still has not said nothing. That's what's driving me crazy, because why the fuck